You ready? When we do this, if you look at the camera, that's when you are looking at the people that are going to see it. You don't have to look at them the entire time or look at that camera. We could pay attention to what we're doing. And the whole purpose of this video is to give people a resource so they know how to make a super smoothie.
They don't know how to make a smoothie?
Some people might not. So this is going to help, I hope.
Okay.
All right. Boom. Good morning, world. I've got my handsome assistant here, Atlas, who's going to help us make Seim Super Smoothie. I have a smoothie probably every day. It's very rare that I don't throw things into this blender and make up something delicious for all of us. And they're usually pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some ingredients here. On this side, we've got the ones that are pretty much necessary. And on that side, we've got the ones that are optional. So you don't need everything that you see here. You can play around with your own ingredients and see what it is that you want to make and what tastes good for you. But the whole effort is to get as much nutrient-dense, live plant foods into our bodies as we can. And if we're going through our day and eating the standard American diet, sometimes that's very difficult to do. So anything helps. And this smoothie, I'm hoping, will do just that. All right, so let's start with the staples.
The bananas.
These things over here, the bananas, right? So we've got 3 bananas. You can use 2 or 3 bananas, and the browner the banana is, actually, the better, because that means the sugars inside of the fruit that's inside have started to metabolize. And when you take the peel off, you should barely hear anything, if any noise at all.
Wait, Daddy.
Yeah, that one's not as spotted as these other 2 that I have, but we're going to use it anyway. When you have those brown spots, you know that the banana is really sweet. Can you break that one up? And it's going to taste a lot better, in my opinion. There are other reasons to use less ripe bananas for different, recipes and purposes. They're a little more starchy, a little more binding. But in terms of these bananas, we want them to be real sweet because we want our smoothie to be sweet. So after we've got the bananas in there, we've got, what else? You want to throw the walnuts in?
The blueberries.
Blueberries? All right. We've got some frozen blueberries. And by the way, everything that we've gotten here has been at our local grocer. So whether that's Aldi or Stop and Shop, you can find these ingredients pretty much anywhere. And we want to use all organic. If not organic, then non-GMO at least. All these ingredients are going to go inside of our body and provide us with a greater level of health from the nutrition that it gives us. The nutrition. So we want to make sure that we're using the best ingredients that we can possibly find, right? Without breaking the bank, because that's important. So with the blueberries, after we throw the 3 bananas in there, you don't have to break them up, but it's cool if you do. I'm just going to eyeball and dump in probably about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of frozen blueberries in there. You can add more or take away some if you're not a blueberry person. And you can use strawberries too. Chrissy likes to use strawberries. You can throw some other type of fruit. I'm a huge fan of blueberries, and so I like to overload them there. The regular what?
Serving is like 15 blueberries.
15?
Yeah.
All right, we probably got a little more than that. All right, next we're gonna go with our greens. We've got some baby spinach here, and this is also organic from Aldi. And I take a big handful, right? I've got pretty big hands, so you can kind of see. What, you want to put some in there too? Oh, we're overloaded on the spinach. Go ahead. Oh, you don't want to overload on the spinach. Okay. So we throw a handful of spinach in there. You can do a little more, a little less, right? These are all kind of eyeball judgments, or measurements rather. Next, after we throw the greens in,
The walnut.
the walnuts. All right, we store our walnuts in this large
I call them brain food.
brain food. Why do you call them brain food?
Because they help my brain and they look like brain.
Yeah, they do help your brain. They are high in. Get those in there. They are high in fatty acids, essential fatty acids that are great for brain development and brain function. So we throw some of those in there. If you have a nut allergy, obviously you want to try to avoid putting any nuts or anything that's contaminated with nuts in your smoothie. And make sure you ask people if they have any allergies before you offer them this delicious smoothie. Okay, so next we're gonna throw in the liquid, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then we'll talk about the add-ons after that.
Milk.
All right, so we've got a couple different options, two different options that you can use for your mix, right? So we've got some oat milk right here. You can use any plant-based milk. We just happen to have some Planet Oat milk in here. So this will make it a little more creamy. If you're someone who you know is a milk drinker.
It says extra creamy.
Extra creamy? Yeah, you're right. If you're someone who is a typical milk drinker and you want to have a creamier, more thicker, consistent smoothie, then you're going to use some of this. I'm not going to use too much, but I'm going to add a little bit in there. And then we're going to mix it, right? So we're going to mix it with some water. Right, I have the 0 water filter right here that we keep in the fridge. It helps to remove a lot of the neurotoxins and pollutants and different things that are in our tap water, in our groundwater, in our spring water, whatever it might be. So this filter is really good at getting a lot of that out. We also have an AquaTrue filter that's on the counter over there that does even more. So sometimes we double filter it. We take the water out of one filter, put it in another, and you know, try to get the best water we can. So we're going to put some of this in here. Now, depending on how big of a smoothie you want to make, that will determine how much fluid you add into the smoothie mix. And then we're pretty much set to blend at this point if this is all you wanted to do. But let's talk about the add-ons. Add-ons, these are optional. So a couple things here. I'll start with this. Now, I'm a huge fan of chocolate. And what is this?
Cacao powder that comes from a chocolate.
It comes from a chocolate? It tastes like chocolate.
It comes from a chocolate.
Where does it come from?
A cacao tree.
A cacao tree, right? So this is raw cacao powder. I think we got this maybe at Marshall's or, yeah, we got it at Marshall's, right? So sometimes you can go there and find some great things, some little hidden treasures, and this is one of them. So this is cacao powder. You want to be sparing, use this sparingly if you have any digestive sensitivities. It does, in some cases, depending on how much you add, cause some digestional distress. So if you have anything going on, you might want to check with your nutritionist or just experiment with it a little bit and see if it does anything for you. But it's a great nutritional add-on. We've also got some
microgreen.
What kind are these?
Sunflower.
So we've got some sunflower sprouts from my friend Johans and Mei Ling of Upper Grassy Greens. And I get these delivered to my house, dropped off, fresh, and I use them right away. I use them in smoothies, soups, salads, sandwiches, all different sorts of things. And sometimes I just open it right up and eat some of these. They taste great. All right, so I usually take a pinch of those, right? I'll save a little more for my next smoothie, and we throw those right in there. Micronutrients are found in microgreens, so we like to add that in there. Next, we've got, what is it?
Chia seeds.
Chia seeds, okay? Chia seeds, again, essential fatty acids that we're throwing in here. So we're going to sprinkle some of those in there. I like to do a lot, actually, but I also put this in water, in my water bottles, in other drinks that I might have, some juices sometimes. And then we've got some ground flax meal. So this is flax seed all ground up. We're going to put some of that in there. Okay. And then lastly, what do we got over there?
Peanut butter.
Is it peanut butter?
Sunflower butter.
This is sunflower butter. I found that I have a sensitivity to peanuts. Can I see this? Probably about a year ago. So I switched over to sunflower butter, and I really like it. This is organic sunflower butter, Nature's Promise from Stop and Shop. You can get this there. It's a little more expensive than peanut butter, but under my limitations, so to speak, it's well worth it, right? I love peanut butter. I used to eat it every day. And then when I found out that I had a little sensitivity to it, I said, let me employ some discipline, cut that out, and switch over to sunflower butter. But it's delicious. It's growing on me. All right. Now, another add-on And this is something that you might do in the summer months, is throw a couple ice cubes in there. You know, if you go to a smoothie place like Smoothie King or something like that, it's usually a cold smoothie with ice in it. I typically don't like to put ice in my smoothies, but if it was like a hot day in the summer and you needed something refreshing, you might do that. All right, so can we put the lid on this thing?
Mm-hmm.
All right, lid goes on. Now this happens to be a NutriBullet NutriBlender. You can find this pretty much at any department store. I think they got it at Target for $100 or less. It's got 3 speeds plus a pulse, so it's pretty much everything that we need. Some people might have more high-end blenders. Some people might have something a little less efficient than this, but whatever you got, we can make it work, all right? So, turn the power on. Atlas, you wanna hit the low speed?
Purple.
It is purple. What makes it purple?
Blueberries.
Yeah. So we usually let it go for about 10 to 15 seconds on each speed. Hit the second one.
Now it's red.
Third one.
Now it's green. I'm going
And after, what, you gonna get some cups?
Yeah.
Okay. And after about, 45 seconds or so, we are done. And we have our super smoothie. So Atlas is gonna go grab us some cups. Grab 2 small ones, bud. We'll take the lid off. So while we're getting ready to serve this up to ourselves and enjoy them, I'll talk to you about consumption and storage. After you blend a smoothie or make a juice for that matter, or even cook your food, you want to make sure that you consume it as close to when it's done as possible, right? So it's kind of like when a fruit falls off the tree, right? If it was to fall right out of a tree and into your hand, that would be the best time to eat it. It was ripe enough to drop, you were right there to catch it, eat that right then and there. That's bioavailability, right? The micronutrients, the nutrients that are in that fruit are gonna be best at that time. Same thing goes with a smoothie. Once we blend everything up, what we want to do is make sure that we consume it relatively quickly. Can you give me one of those or hold one of those up with 2 hands, please? We don't want to drop that. Okay. So we're going to give Atlas some of that. All right. Get the other one, please. And this one will be mine. We're trying to measure it out, make sure we're even.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers to your health.
Cheers with ears.
And cheers to your health.
Yummy.
What do you think? Thumbs up? If you had to give it a number, 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, what would you give it?
I would give it a 9.
A 9? What do you think would make it better?
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
I'm just kidding.
So here it is. Pretty simple. I could call it Seim Simple Smoothie, but I call it Seim Super Smoothie because it contains a lot of ingredients that are going to be really beneficial to you. There's something to be said about adding more. So sometimes less is more. We don't want to tax our body too much with digestion and trying to break down all of these things, but they're all live plant foods. So it's pretty simple, right? It doesn't give our body too much burden when we put stuff like this in it. In terms of storage, if you're making a large amount like this, so I'm gonna give some to Chrissy in a little while when she gets ready, and we'll probably have more of this. We'll probably knock this thing out in the next 5 minutes. But if we weren't going to finish that, we would put it in some, yeah, we would store it. Where would we store it?
The fridge.
The fridge, yes. We would put it in some airtight containers and we would put the lid on and then put it in the fridge and try to consume it within 24 hours. Probably closer to 12, but what happens is when these nutrients get oxidized, when they hit the air, they start to degrade. They start to spoil, so to speak.
Yeah, so
right?
the top gets hard and mushy.
Mm-hmm. So we might need to reblend it. So if we kept it in this, we can reblend it and then drink it. If we keep it in a bottle, then we'll just shake it up a little bit and drink that. So we want to make sure that we consume it in a relatively short time frame. All right? But that's pretty much it, right? I hope that this seems simple. I hope
It's
that
delicious.
yeah, it is delicious. I hope when you try this at your house and on your own that you are successful. If you need any hints or tips or just want to share with me how yours came out, please do. All right, enjoy it.